This is the Glow Studio podcast, a space for makeup enthusiasts and professionals alike. Best friends Emma and Amelia have worked with hundreds of brides on the morning of their wedding. We've seen how this special day can be impacted by small stresses and know that with some preparation, the stress can be avoided. This Bridal Series will unpack everything you need to know to prepare for the big day. We've done this so that you can be present and in the moment and just enjoy marrying the love of your life. So, let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to the Glow Studio podcast. My name is Emma.
And I am Amelia.
Thank you for tuning in and listening or watching us today. If you're watching us on the video platform, this is episode 0. This is our introduction. We're here to tell you a little bit about who we are as humans, what we do, how we came into this space, whether you're a professional hair or makeup artist or whether you are a bride that is using us or maybe just getting married. Just, maybe we're not one of your vendors, but we're here to just give you a little bit of insight about how we started and why we're here, right now.
And I think that you should start off with that.
Okay.
Because this whole journey has really started with you. And to sort of let you guys know, we've been best friends. For 16, 17.
Probably longer.
Maybe 18 years.
Probably
We've got
longer.
a fair bit of banter. We've got lots of stories. Lots of stories. So we'll try to keep it short.
How did we get here? How did I get here to start with? So I'm a beauty therapist by trade. I finished school. I went straight out of school. I always loved, even in my teen years, as soon as I could get my hands on some Maybelline matte mousse at Priceline, mate, I was there. I was there, and I was all about all the shades of orange. And anyone who grew up in the 2000s will relate to that. I'm showing my age. But yeah, so beauty and makeup have always been really important to me. And I don't know why they've been important to me. It's not that I'm an exceptionally vain person.
No,
it's
you're not vain.
Not that there's anything wrong with vanity. It's just something that I kind of get. It resonates with me. It makes sense. And I like it. I like the fact that I get to play with makeup. It's a great job, and it always sort of interests me. So yeah, I left high school. I went and did a diploma in beauty therapy. I worked in some of Brisbane's most leading day spas. And again, day spas for me was really crucial in building a lot of what we do today, which is about that luxury service, and really, setting those expectations and exceeding them in terms of the quality of the work as well as the customer service. So and day spas really brought that out of me, and making sure that you can relax and you can enjoy it, because I think in those moments they're really important. No matter what's going on in your life, that you could just have a little breather and have a little bit of a chill time, and you can walk out almost feeling $1 million and forget about all the crap that you had carrying when you walked in. So I started in working in day spas. I ended up working in, a number of day spas, number of beauty salons, very well-known beauty salons. I won't drop names. And I loved it. I absolutely loved my work. But due to some lifestyle situations, I was in a relationship where my husband at the time was working exceptionally long hours. He was, working almost like mining type hours. And beauty salons and day spas, you are required to do weekend work. It's an industry standard. Obviously that's when people are off work and they want to get a massage or they want to get a facial. So I couldn't work weekends because of what was going on with my husband's hours. I needed to be there at home. I couldn't work a Monday to Friday job in beauty. It just didn't exist back then. Maybe now it does, but back then it just wasn't around. So it left me no choice to leave. And I actually ended up doing a complete change of pace and went into banking and finance. Little different. And needless to say, look, I was a bank manager for 7 years. I worked my way up the ranks and I made some awesome connections with other people, and learnt a lot about finances and small businesses and money in general and how to manage your money. And I tell you what, I was the best dressed banker that was out there. I had the nails, I had the fake tan, I had the lashes. Thing. People walked in and go, "Whoa, you don't look like you work here."
It shouldn't really.
No, I was a fish out of water. But I did it, and I was highly successful in my career, and I made the bank a lot of money, and but I didn't love it, and I still kept my finger in the beauty pie, so to speak. I did weddings. I did pretty much everyone that I've known who's been married. I did their hair or did their makeup at least. Still did a bit of editorial work, film and TV work on the sides on the weekends. I'd pick up the odd jobs because I just loved it and I couldn't let it go. And for me, it was second nature. So, but after 7 years, I actually fell pregnant with twins. I have identical twin boys. They are 6 years old and absolute light of my life. And they were born quite heavily premature. So that meant that I couldn't return to work as one normally would return to work sort of a year or so after having babies. I had to have a number of years off so that I could care for them, which I loved, and that was a blessing in itself. So I took a little bit of a hiatus from work. I had about 3 years off living in Melbourne throughout COVID with young children, young twins. That was fun. And unfortunately, my first marriage did break down. However, I've managed to salvage that relationship very well. My ex-husband and I, we get along really, really well, which is just, such a blessing in itself. So for me, I needed to find my identity again. Anyone who's been divorced, would know that there's that little bit of that shift of what do I do now? My whole paradigm shifting type situation. And I went back to what I knew. I went back to my roots, which was beauty. And I thought if I'm going to go back to work, I need something that's flexible around my children, which beauty was. I could do weekend work, which kind of worked well for my situation at that time. So it's funny how things change. And I started Glow Studio by Emma, I was originally called, which was just me, just doing my own thing down in Melbourne. And I was using Velbella Airbrush, which was, it's a professional airbrush brand. Loved it. Absolutely loved it, and started to build my business from the ground up, really. And then I relocated back to Brisbane. And when I relocated back to Brisbane, the owner of Velbella actually reached out to me and said the business was for sale. She was hanging up her makeup brushes to pursue other directions. And to me, it really, I'm a Christian, and to me, it was God saying this is the direction you need to go in. And absolutely, he had his hand in that. So I purchased the business and then merged that with Glow Studio by Emma. And we became Glow Studio by Velbella. And then I had the two arms. So I had the professional line, which is sold to other makeup artists and other people out there. And then I also had the service-based industry, which is, doing the hair and the makeup itself. And then anyway, that continued on, and it was great, but it was a lot to wear those two hats as a hair and makeup artist. It's especially me being a perfectionist and really wanting to make sure that the work that I do is top tier. It's premium, it's luxury, it's 10 out of 10. I don't do anything by halves. I've got twins. I do not do things by halves. I'm
double everything.
It's double everything, and it's the best of my ability. And I really kind of not struggled, but it was a lot. It was a lot doing hair and makeup and switching between the two. It didn't come organically for me like others. Makeup, yes, but hair I was always like, I need to think it through. My mind was, very logical. And that kind of leads into Mills. So Mills had always been, because I said we had been friends for so long, she was freaking amazing at doing hair and always was, just could do it with her eyes closed. And I think growing up in the church and having sisters and,
done all their
weddings and all their weddings hair, and she was really good at it. And I thought, you know what, like you should come along and be my assistant. Just at least help me, like clean some brushes. Maybe you could throw through a couple of curls if I'm really punched on for time. And she did that. And then I saw the passion in her light grew. And then it was like, no, we got to get you formally trained. And then we put her through hair school. And, she did some really grueling study and test, which, for hairstyling you wouldn't think is the case. But, there's a lot to it. And then she's come on as my business partner. So, and wouldn't have it any other way. So that kind of leads into you, mate.
Yeah.
That's my story in a nutshell. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Do I backpedal?
Yeah, no. Yes, you do. You do backpedal.
I guess I backpedal.
Yes, that's how you came on.
Yes, that's how I came on. So straight out of school, I worked in hospitality for 10 years, business development. I worked with some lawyers, did some of their launching of little side hustles. That seems to be sort of the trend. I do a lot of launching of this little side hustle, and I help you with that, and I've done a website, and I'll do your social media, and I'll do this, and lots of hands in lots of little pies.
Almost like business development manager.
Yeah,
it's almost like a BDM type. Almost executive
really
or an executive assistant role. I would say if you had to be labelled something, it would be like an EA role. Yeah, very hands-on.
Yes, very hands-on. And I was lucky enough that I worked with an incredible lawyer who was at the top of her game, got all of the right people in to learn about automations and social media marketing and stuff
CRM
like that.
Systems
like all those systems and stuff that you actually need to really build a business. I sort of learnt just by doing that for her. And that's come in handy.
Oh, has it ever?
So handy.
Oh, yeah.
So handy. So I started in hospitality, did some sort of corporate work, and then I actually became quite unwell for a few years. So I was, I won't go into the whole story. I've got a whole other podcast episode on that you can listen to if you're really.
Yeah, we'll link it in the show notes down below, yes.
If you need to know the gory details.
That's it.
But basically I had a tumour and I was out of action for 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
About
5, 6 years, yeah. Multiple operations.
Yeah. In and out of
Unsuccessfully.
hospitals, sort of struggling to work. And this lawyer that I was working for, she wanted to start a podcast. And she said, look, if you can learn how to edit it, then I can give you that work. You can edit it for me and then post it for me throughout the week, and you can do that at your own leisure. And I thought, great, that sounds like a good idea. Did that, and then started a podcast production business because that was the natural next step.
Yes. Yes, you were good at it. It came naturally to you, like hair did, Yeah.
Yeah, so I've worked in my business, Pretty Podcast for, that's been going for
about 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years.
Yep.
Yeah, pre-COVID, all of that. So COVID was really good for me and my business boosting.
Lots of people started podcasting COVID. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so that's where I was in the working space, working for myself. I have only worked for myself for the last, since I finished work. Long time. Yeah, and then when Emma sort of approached me and said, hey, would you want to come and do some a bit of curling here and there. I was like, yes, please. Because although podcasts, I'm listening to people, I'm not actually doing that human interaction all the time, and I really missed it.
Yeah, you're a very people person.
A very people person, and I just absolutely love like a wedding day, and I get so excited.
It's like a duck to water.
Yeah.
It was.
Just about bounce around.
Yep. It was great. And that's why I was like, we got to get you formally trained. You got to do this with me because this solves my issue of being really stressed and you evidently love it. You're amazing at it. You pick it up well.
And because we've been friends so long, we've got such a good dynamic.
That's
and all
right.
That sort of stuff.
We have awesome communication. Super important.
Super important. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've been formally styling with us for about 2 years now. Yeah. So she's our lead bridal hairstylist. Yeah, and then I sort of assist you with hair now. Yeah.
Emma can still do hair.
I still do hair. Yeah.
She doubts herself a lot, but she can still do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a lot easier. Like now that I've sort of understand the process, like makeup is a very step process. You got to have all your ducks in a line. There's a specific way that you need to do it. Whereas a hair, well, that depends on the hair type, depends on how their hair is going to react to the heat and all that sort of stuff.
That's
There's
right.
a whole bunch of different variables.
Yeah, I don't do variables.
Putting on that hat and then a variable hat, it was too much of a mental shift for you.
Yeah, I'm a very logical person and a very, it's got to make sense in my brain. I don't, things don't sort of come naturally, organically for me. I've got to think them through.
Whereas sometimes
I'm a critical thinker. That's what I am.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your hair.
Yeah.
Like I'm sort of getting to know your hair while I'm standing behind you. And
she loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it. Gives it a little sniff. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Not quite that weird.
I'm not sniffing your head behind you.
Yeah.
But I think all of that leads back into the history of how we came to be here.
Yeah.
Everything we've learned in our past and our history has really brought us to this place.
That's right.
And we're very wise in it. We're wise businesswomen, not to toot our own horn, but we probably spent a good 6 months talking about whether or not we should be partners or
That's
not.
right, yeah. Yeah. We
Pros
don't
and
want to
cons.
jeopardise our friendship for business or for money.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
You should see our partnership agreement because I'll bless over here with all the documents,
with my banking background.
With all the things. We've got all the accountants set up, so we've done it really properly and really wisely.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's beautiful, and I would love to see more friends out there. It is quite a lonely industry, so
it can be being a makeup artist, and I think that brings us into our last point. You're often, if you're a hair and makeup artist that's listening, you'll know all too well. Often you're the only one on the job. You'll be working with models or you'll be working with other people, but sometimes you just want to talk to another makeup artist. What do you love about your kit? What are your top 3 products? What's something new that you just can't live without? We love this stuff so much, and often makeup artists, we do this for the passion. We don't do this for the money. We do this because we just love it. And we really want, like Mills and I, again, as Christian, we're all about community, not competition. We want to build a community. We want to have a number of artists that we can reach out to, whether or not you're using our brand or not. That's got two licks of a difference. I mean, that would be great. If you want to hear about Airbrush training, you hit me up. That's no dramas at all. We'd love to have you on board. But community, so that we've got a network. I think there's power in that, and I think we're all artists Everyone has their own way of doing things. There is really no right or wrong unless you're double dipping mascara wands when we got to talk. But, you know, aside from hygiene and you know, common practices, basic practices, there's no right or wrong. There's no, you do you, and that's what makes you a good artist. It's the same as painting, you know, a canvas. You get two painting artists and say, paint me a forest. They're going to be totally different.
100%.
Totally different. Is one going to be better than the other? No, they'll be different. So let's all come together. Or if you're a bride that's listening and you're going to move into the Bridal Series that we've just recorded, you know, again, it's so that you can understand us and so that we can help you have the best wedding day that you can possibly have.
We're very much open books, maybe a little bit too open
way
sometimes.
Too open, mate. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm getting better as I got older. I'm starting to realise that not everyone needs to know everything about me, but nor do they care. But yeah, no, we are open book people, and we just really love what we do.
Yeah. And we want to build that, I guess, so you know, for what is our plan? What are we doing a podcast
what's
for?
The podcast
What's
for?
the point of this? So we're going to have two sides of it. So obviously I'm a podcast producer, so this is handy. This is handy. I've never done videos, so I have to say, we'll see how we go.
So it's about it.
You can learn something new every time.
That's right. I'm sure we'll look back at our first episode
and be like,
in 5 years' time and be like, oh, what are we doing here?
Growing and changing. You've got to evolve. You've got to start. Just get it out there.
Yep.
Get it out there.
Man.
Start somewhere.
But
the plan for this podcast, Glow Studio, is also we're going to have a whole pro series where we're going to dive into makeup. We're going to talk about the airbrush, not only our brand, potentially airbrush in general.
We're going to have other artists come in as well. We're going to be doing guest appearances. So if you're an artist and you want to be on the show, if you've got something to add, whether, you know, we are primarily bridal makeup artists and hairstylists, but we do events and we do formals as well. The only thing that we probably don't really do a lot of, nor am we interested in, is film and TV.
It's very different vibe.
It's quite different. It is quite different.
In and out the door.
It's not so much about that service.
Yes.
You know, for us, it's about that service. So if you feel like, you know, if you want to be a guest on our show, whether you're a wedding vendor, whether you're a photographer, a florist, a dressmaker, another hair and makeup artist, mate, we are all open. So reach out to us. You can do that. Where to find us? You can do that. Reach out via email, admin@velbella.com. You can also head to our websites. Now, if you are a pro and you're interested in working with us with Airbrush, go to velbellaairbush.com.au. We also have Instagram at Velbella Airbrush, on Facebook as well. Or if you are a bride and you're wanting to connect with us, even if you're not one of our clients, even if you're not one of our brides, but you've got a question about weddings, hit us up. We're not going to say no. We'll help you out. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in Australia, in Brisbane, or on the other side of the world. You got a question, you ask us, we'll help you. And you can do that at glowstudiobyvelbella.com.au. And also on Instagram or Facebook, we are at glowstudio by Velbella. Velbella is spelled VELBELLA. It's a tricky one. But all of our websites and all of our contacts will be down at the bottom of in the show notes as well.
Correct.
Feel free to reach out to us. We're going to be opening up for guest episodes probably in the early new year. Probably around January, February we'll be opening up. And yeah, as I said, we'd love to have anybody on board. If you're interested and you're listening, hit us up.
And if you're a bride and you're ready to listen to the Bride series, here's what you can expect. Episode number 1, you're engaged. Now what? What are the big things that you should be considering in your wedding planning?
That's right. Navigating wedding priorities is another thing. Priorities is the key word for that. Yep. What's important to you?
Episode 2, we're going to be talking about what it's like to work with us on your wedding day. So we'll give you a bit of a run through what that looks like. That may not be the same for every other hair and makeup artist.
No, won't be.
It's a good
I'll tell you that now.
But it gives you a good overview, and there's a lot of really great tips in there for how to manage the day and all that sort of stuff. Our 3rd episode is not for brides, it's for bridesmaids.
It's for bridesmaids.
Maids being the key factor. The Bridesmaid Chronicles, ultimate guide to becoming the perfect bridesmaid.
We encourage anyone who's a bride to pass that episode on, share it with your friends. Anyone who's in your bridal party, send it to them so they got a really clear understanding of how to best support you. It's going to make your life a lot easier, trust me.
Then episode 4, we're going to talk about trials, what that means, what it's a bit like to work with us. And then finally, we're going to be talking about hair and skin prep.
Yes.
Because that's really important.
Super important.
Yep.
Moisturise your face.
Yeah, moisturize your face. Use eye cream.
Use an eye cream.
Wash your hair.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, how to get your skin and your hair prepped for your wedding day or for an event. You know, it's really the same. It's the same whether it's a wedding day or it's an event or a formal. But yeah, we'll step you through what you need to do leading up to that to get ready so that you can help us do our best work.
Ultimately, what we want is to make you feel beautiful.
Yep, naturally beautiful. Or not naturally beautiful if you're so inclined. If you want, the super ultra glam cut crease, mate, I'm here for it. That's absolutely fine. Or if you want the no makeup look, I can do that as well. No problems.
She can do it all.
I can do it all.
She can do it all.
Not blow my own horn. But thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy the series. Please reach out to us if you've got any comments, feedback, or if you'd love to be a guest on the show. We would be more than welcome to have you on. We are based in Brisbane, though.
But we can do remote.
We can do remote recordings. We can do remote recordings. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. And we hope to hear from you soon. Until next time, God bless.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Glow Studio podcast. If you're a professional makeup artist looking to add airbrush makeup as an upsell to your kit, visit verbella.com.au and hit the Learn page. We also have workshops and one-to-one masterclasses available. And finally, tune in to the upcoming Glow Studio Pro Series, where Emma and Amelia will discuss all things professional makeup and airbrush.